All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the SHIPIT Nation Cash Game Show here for Week 13 of the NFL season. A little bit of a different schedule this week with Thanksgiving and the Black Friday game. I'm just going to kind of walk through and try to identify some plays here by myself for cash. We'll kind of talk through each position, follow the same format. We'll go through DraftKings, we'll go through FanDuel, and start to develop that player pool in order to find the cash game lineup for this week. And then obviously you guys can go over to SHIPITNation.com. We have 4 cores from our guy Title on DraftKings, 4 cores on FanDuel. And again, the schedule this week a little bit different with the Thanksgiving Day slate and then the Friday standalone game, Chiefs and the Raiders. So we'll go through, see what we can find here. In regards to DraftKings, as you can see here, I am screen sharing with the Shiptimizer. This is the optimizer that we have at SHIPITNation.com. Any package that you choose over at SHIPIT Nation, you can choose one that includes the Shiptimizer, all our projections and ownership uploaded, as needed. So I have it sorted here. We're at quarterback position. I have it sorted by actual points, projected points. And as you can see, Lamar Jackson's at the top at 8K, Joe Burrow. And then it gets pretty interesting because the third highest projected guy for us is Anthony Richardson at 5,500, which represents a pretty good value. So we'll sort by value. He's going to be at the top. After him, it's Herbert, it's Geno, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford. One thing that definitely stands out to me on DraftKings right out of the gate is probably saving money at quarterback. I don't think there's a need to spend. Based on what we have, it's going to be Anthony Richardson. So I'm just going to go ahead, put him in. As you can see, we have the hand build option here. I'm going to kind of develop. I'm going to plug in some guys that, I like as we go along, just to get a better feel for the slate. Let's go to running back. Sorted by projected points here again. At the top, we have Breece Hall. We have Ramondre Stevenson, so he's going to probably end up being a pretty good value because he's only 59. Jonathan Taylor, ETN, and then it kind of goes down to some dumpster dudes that we don't have a ton of interest in. That's sorted wrong. So let me go back and kind of, okay. We have Barkley at 85, Breece Hall 75, Kamara 77, Bijan Robinson 73, Aaron Jones 65, Joe Mixon probably a little light on him at against the Jaguars. Sort by value. See what we have: Aaron Jones, Pollard, Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Chase Brown, Jonathan Taylor. So it's a position where we might be looking to spend a little bit. The one guy that definitely stands out to me, and he's not at the top of our list, but Chase Brown, 62. The workload is incredible. Matchup against Pittsburgh, not the greatest, but it represents good value, the 62. So if we put him in, we're in pretty good shape. And the one thing I always like to do when kind of building out cash teams, I'm just going to plug in like a cheaper defense, and let's just go ahead and we'll plug in. I don't necessarily like this defense, but we're just going to go with Cincinnati because it gives us a better feel of how much we have left per spot. Go back over to running back, and guys that I really like would be Alvin Kamara. The floor is very, very high, 7,700. If we have the money, I would not mind coming back and getting him. I like Robinson, Bijan, 7,300. I think he's a totally fine option. Aaron Jones, I'd be good with that. Tony Pollard, yeah, fine. So I don't really have like a super strong preference. All I know is like the Chase Brown stands out as a solid option to me, 6,200. Wide receiver, projected points, we got Jamar Chase. We have Jefferson and Puka at the top, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Brian Robinson Jr., Nico Collins. So for me, like if we're going cheap at quarterback, I think we'll have a chance to at least get maybe like one spend here. And man, I think I just wanted to pull this up. I think if I can get a spend at the wide receiver position nowadays, it might just be Puka. I mean, so many targets, 14, 9, 13 last week. Didn't find the end zone last week and got us 23 fantasy points. He's a guy that I really like, a little bit cheaper than some of those guys in the top tier. Let's see if we can make that work. So we're down to, what do we got, 5,500 per spot if we put him in. I think this is kind of a good starting point. One other name that I did want to mention, and we don't have him very high, and I'm sure we'll get some updates here, is T. Higgins. I mean, T. Higgins, the workload has been absolutely incredible since coming back. 6,600 for him. 13 targets last week, 9 for 148. Massive game against the Chargers. Dude's a stud if he can stay on the field. And that price tag, to me, just way too cheap. Let's go ahead and plug him in as well and then see where we're at. Probably going to need one cheap guy to kind of make this all work. Based on our projections, what's the cheapest we have? So this this booty dude for the Patriots continues to be on the field a ton. Did he do anything last week? Pull it up. 4 targets, 1 catch. So he's on the field, but just doesn't do anything. He's going to continue to show up in projection models because of the fact that he's always on the field. David Moore, 3,500 is another guy I'm somewhat interested in. 3,500, 10 targets last week. So 10 targets. I think he's probably the best cheapie. Not a must in cash, but definitely a guy to potentially look at. Tight end. I'm going to go ahead, do the same thing. Projected points. What do we got up here? McBride, Taysom, Cade Otton, Hunter Henry, Kyle Pitts. Probably going to have to go a little bit cheap based on this sort of build. We got 53. I guess we could maybe sneak something in, but if we want another decent running back, we're going to have to find something cheap here. Dalton Schultz, 33. You guys know you don't need to twist my arm to play Dalton Schultz. What did he do last week? 2 targets. I mean, he's done nothing, but 3,300 now. It's like if he finds the end zone, that's all you can ask for. If you get 7, 8 fantasy points at that price tag, you're probably good with it. Dallas Goedert, I kind of like too, 4,300. We don't have a strong number on him, but I think he's a fine option. Zach Ertz, 38 would be fine there. Hunter Henry, 4,200 would totally be fine. Would be fine with him. Again, probably have to go a little bit cheap here to make it all work. Hunter Henry, yeah, I mean 9, 8. Drake May likes going to him, so maybe he's just the guy. I think that's a fine option at 42. So probably got to go cheap to make this all work. Defense, let's see if anything stands out. Not an important position for cash. Likely looking to save some money. I just plugged in the Bengals. Jaguars, don't love that. Bengals I'm fine with. Falcons, even the Cardinals at 24, I'd be fine with. So not a priority position, just something to kind of make it all work. So it's kind of where we're at on DraftKings. Good starting point, but like I said, over at SHIPITNation.com, our guy Title. We'll have 4 cores for DraftKings, 4 for FanDuel. We're going to flip over to FanDuel in a minute. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe on this video. It helps us out a ton. If you're not a member at SHIPIT Nation, we have a promo going, BF50, Black Friday 50. We don't need to type in Black Friday. It's just BF50. It gets you 50% off any all-access package. You can get packages that include Shiptimizer, and all our all-access packages get you access to our very, very active Discord. Rest of season football packages, and the reason it says football and not NFL is because we have college football included in our football packages. $99 if you don't want the Shiptimizer. If you want the Shiptimizer, it's only $30 more. $129 gets you all the way through the Super Bowl. Includes all our showdown content, playoff content, everything you need to be successful with DFS. All right, let's flip over to FanDuel. See where we're at. We're going to start with quarterback, like always. Sort by projected points. And on FanDuel, you're always going to have the ability to maybe spend up a little bit more at the quarterback position. It's just how the pricing works. Lamar Jackson, 8,700. Josh Allen, 9K. Looks like a lot of snow, they're saying, in that game in Buffalo. Anthony Richardson's up here. Joe Burrow. So whereas on DraftKings, where I feel like you're probably going cheap no matter what, FanDuel's probably a little more open in regards to what you do at the quarterback position. Like I'd be fine Drake May at 68. Anthony Richardson now is kind of closer to those guys. Kirk Cousins 69 if you need to save. I don't necessarily hate that. I don't know. It's probably pretty wide open. I'll circle back at the end and see if we have the ability to spend or save at this position. But right now, the way I'm seeing it, pretty wide open. Running back, we have Saquon Barkley, 9,200, Breece Hall, 87, Kamara, 83, Bijan, 85, Aaron Jones, 77. That's sorted by projected points. You sort by value. Jones is at the top. Pollard, 7K. The other guy that I did want to mention was Chase Brown again at 73. They're at home. The workload is so good. 7,300 price is solid to me. I'm going to plug him in here for us. I'm going to go to defense again and just plug in like a, let's see, we'll plug it in the Bengals again. It's actually pretty cheap. Maybe it is the Bengals. Pretty open though. I mean, nothing really stands out as like must plays. I like the Chase Brown price tag. If I have to come back in that 7K range, you have options. Aaron Jones, 7K for Tony Pollard. There's guys here to play. So what I want to do is go to wide receiver and see. We talked about Puka and T. Higgins as guys that I really like for cash games. Are they viable on DraftKings or on FanDuel? Let's see, 87. So he's up there a little bit more. I think still a fine option. I mean, the workload is just so steady. Where is our guy T. Higgins? Because I do really like him. Yeah, 76. So he's quite a bit cheaper. Still like that workload. So it might be heavy on the Bengals this week in cash, which is, it's fine. I mean, the matchup's not great, but they are at home. Let's see. They've had these guys in the 6K range on FanDuel for Ladd McConkey, 6,300. That's just, to me, that's too cheap. Like that is a really good price tag, really good value. He's showing up as our top value. So let's do a little bit different. Let's go with Ladd, okay? And we'll see what we can make work with the other running back spot. See what we have at tight end. Do we have a cheap guy we can play? Because ideally, I'd like to maybe get another spend. I don't mind the Devontae Adams either, 7K. I mean, obviously they have nothing to play for. Their team freaking sucks. Aaron Rodgers has been a disaster, but 7K flat for Adams. He's been solid. He's going to get peppered. When he had 6 for 72, he's had at least 6 catches in 3 straight games. That 7K price tag for him is nice. So maybe we don't go all the way up and spend on our third spot. Let's see what you have at tight end, though. That'll help us dictate. So Hunter Henry's at the top of 51. I already talked about it. Hunter Henry's been great in terms of his workload. And Drake May loves going to this guy. 5,100, to me, way too cheap. 8 targets, 9 had 1 4-target game, then 8, 6. But since May's been out there, 6 for 53, 5 for 44, has not found the end zone yet. 5,100 for him, I think it's really good. I mean, you have Disley at 52, Pitts at 54. I'm gonna plug in Henry and kind of see where we're at. So you plug in Henry, we got 7,500 per spot basically. Quarterback, we said we're fine going cheap. Let's plug in a cheap quarterback then and see what happens. So I'd said I'm fine with Drake May. That does present some correlation. You don't have to correlate in cash games, but it doesn't hurt. If Drake May throws a touchdown to Hunter Henry, you're getting essentially double points. That gives us 78. So a realistic finish to this lineup might be like Devontae Adams, and then looked at Tony Pollard, and then you could get like an 8K spend. So this sort of setup definitely provides a lot of different options. Like if you plug in a spend here, let's see if we plug in Lamar Jackson, kind of limited a little bit because we're down to 72. So maybe it is cheap on FanDuel at quarterback too. We'll see. But I guess a third wide receiver that's cheap could make sense even lower than Adams if you wanted to go that route. But Adams at 7K seems pretty solid. So maybe it's more of like a balanced setup this week on FanDuel. We'll see. Like I said, Title will have the cash plays tagged for FanDuel and DraftKings, 4 cores on each site to get you started. So make sure you kind of get over there. make sure you get over there and check it all out. But I think this is a good kind of starting point for cash games on both sites. Like, we know kind of what we're doing on DraftKings. We're going to be saving at quarterback. Though the T. Higgins Puka play really stand out to me. On FanDuel here, we got the plays lined up. Like, I like the Higgins price tag. Ladd McConkey at 63 seems too cheap to me. Hunter Henry, I think, is probably a lock at 51. Cheaper over here on FanDuel than on DraftKings. So yeah, I hope you guys found this to be helpful. Starting point for cash games. Start to develop that player pool. We'll obviously analyze all the news and stuff over the course of the next couple days, see if there's any injuries that pop up and provide more value. But as it stands now, I think this is a good starting point. On your way out, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe. We appreciate all your support. Good luck in your contests. This week, we'll be back next week, normal time, with myself and Title. Good luck.